All right, another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm host Jeff Sherman along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And, the news cycle is kind of, we have the Kavanaugh hearing. It's obviously of interest, but that's kind of just I think kind of the autopilot at this point. We'll see what happens on Friday. Real quick, do you think they'll actually come to a vote on Friday?
I think they will vote. Do they have the votes
to
confirm him? I'm not sure. It's going to be close, but I think they'll go forward with the vote.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Obviously, Bill Cosby in the news. If you 5 years ago, if I told you that what was going to happen to Bill Cosby, you would never believe it, correct?
Well, actually, I would have believed it.
Why is that?
Growing up, I lived a few blocks away from the NBC studio where the Cosby Show was filmed.
Yeah.
And it was well known in the neighborhood, not that he was a sexual predator, but that he was a rotten person in general. I mean, he was nasty to store owners. So when these accusations came out, the fact that he did this to 60 different women surprised me. I didn't, know anything to that extent, but I knew he was a lousy person, so it really didn't surprise me.
Isn't it funny though, Dr. Lopkin, that how a public face can be so much different than a private face? I've heard the same stories, obviously not about being a predator, but just like on the set of the Tonight Show, when he was a frequent guest host, he was just not a nice person. He was mean to people, camera people, just blue collar people making a living like every other schlub out there. And he was just not very nice.
Right. And what I find amazing though is he seems to have been completely divorced from the reality of the situation. One of the accusers was on CBS News, and she was saying that in the courtroom, when they were talking about the fact that he was now required as a sexual predator to register wherever he goes, he actually asked if that meant if he went to another city just for a day and then came home, did he have to register in that city? He had no idea that he was going to jail right from the courtroom. He honestly believed he was getting out and was going to be able to go out and about.
And
this
is
is
in his
after
70s.
He's 81.
81?
He's 81.
So it's basically almost a death sentence, like 3 to 10 years, right?
They gave him 3 to 10 years. It's basically a life sentence for him.
He'll get out in 5, I would think, right?
If he survives, I think they'll probably let him out in 3. But given his health, given his age, there's a good possibility that he's going to die in prison. And
now okay, go ahead.
I mean, what really amazes me is I think he got what he deserved. I think he deserved prison time. But I am shocked at the number of people who are saying it's not enough. He should have gotten more prison time.
No, I disagree. I think it's just a political environment. I think him getting 3 years. First of all, okay. I was going my next question or my next topic of discussion was going to be depression. Everyone's use his money, even if you don't go to prison, right? You get older, it's your legacy. It's what you've done in life that's important, right?
Right.
I don't know how you sit, 85 years old, Bill Cosby, on top of the world for over 50 years. Think of that, over 50 years, starting with his comedy routine, then I Spy, the Cosby Show. The list goes on, okay? There was a short Cosby Show in the 70s, I believe. Fat Albert, you name it. I mean,
yes.
and also like endorsements because he had his PhD from UMass. I mean, whoa. And now sitting in a jail cell, and you'll always be remembered. You're not going to be remembered as Fat Albert or what you did, philanthropically or for black causes. You're going to be known as a nutcase, as a predator.
Yeah, he's going to be
That
known
is
as
now
a
sitting in a
sexual
cell.
predator. He has
You don't think he'd be depressed?
he has absolutely destroyed his legacy. This is what people are going to know him for. I absolutely believe he's going to go through a bout of depression. In fact, I was talking to someone this morning about the possibility that he may try to kill himself in prison.
I think he'd be on suicide watch. I really do believe so. I really do believe he'd be on suicide watch. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It just goes to show everyone that you never know. Real quick, a friend of mine who, real good looking couple. You thought they had the perfect marriage. He always talked about everything was great. Calls me a year ago, basically, on the verge of a divorce. So, and you'd never know. So you really never know what's behind the curtain, do you, Dr.
No,
Lopkin?
you really don't. I mean, people have gotten so used to seeing these images on social media, images on TV, movies, and they accept that that's reality. And it really isn't. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. You don't know what they're capable of, what they're doing, what's going on, what they may be suffering through.
There's no question about it. And a kind of a closing note, I actually think most people are heroes. Like you see them in a delicatessen, at a restaurant, at a movie, out and about, and you casually say hi to them. I bet if you knew what most people have gone through in their lives, it'd be shocking.
I think you're
The
right.
average person.
Yes.
I mean, disease, divorce, everything. It's and actually on that note, very interesting. A friend of mine reconnected with a woman that he went to college with. They were like sweethearts, whatever. He graduated college 30 years ago, roughly, and he's all optimistic. And anyway, she was a homecoming queen. She's now just recently, he just called me, in a mental institution and a alcoholic. And he's in shock. I mean, in complete shock.
Yeah, you never know what people are going through.
Well, Dr. Lopkin, that can go ahead.
I think it's something that can't be stated enough. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what they're capable of, and I think on both sides, it's like for everyone that goes through something horrible and comes through and you don't know about it, there's also somebody who's doing something terrible, like Bill Cosby, that you don't know about.
No question. Well, Dr. Lopkin, good edition of Carnivore Bites. I like it. Not very political, but interesting. And we'll see you until next time.
See you then.
You've been listening to Carnivore Radio's podcast. You can catch us here every week. Carnivore Radio is part of the Xvadio podcast network. You can listen to the podcast at blogtalkradio.com/Xvadio. If you want to be part of the conversation, you can listen to us live every Friday at 4 o'clock on WESU 88.1 Middletown, Connecticut. You can also catch us online at WESUFM.org. We look forward to hearing from you and see you next week.